We're recording.
Are we recording? So we can start right now?
Should I start?
Do you want to start?
Sure.
Go.
Hi, welcome to the Marketing Podcast. I'm Brendan Quigley.
And I'm Heather Watson. How are you, Brendan?
Marvelous.
Marvelous?
Yep, it's a great day.
I've been totally hanging out on Facebook lately, and I don't know why.
Me neither.
There was a time when, Facebook was really cool, and then not cool, and then really cool, and then not cool. And for some reason right now, I feel like my Facebook feed is intriguing, and it's not because there's any kind of great debate or conversation going on, but I've just been hanging out there. So they've changed some stuff to make, I feel like they've changed something to make me feel more connected to them and wanting to open it.
I wish, and if Facebook's listening, I'd wish they'd make the app, a little smaller, less battery hogging.
Yeah.
That's one of my pet peeves with Facebook.
Yeah.
They actually have a Facebook Lite Messenger.
They do, yeah.
For like older phones, and it runs faster and that kind of stuff. And that's the one I use, funny enough.
Well, and today's episode is about Facebook, and let's talk about Messenger, because that's really one of the things that we wanted to talk about today. Just before Christmas, so early January, or early December rather, Facebook launched a Messenger app for kids. Now,
define kid, like are we
Sure.
talking
under 13.
Under 13. Okay.
So the terms of service for Facebook, as we all know, or we should know, is really if you're under the age of 13, you don't have consent. You're going against the terms of service to be on the Facebook platform. And a lot of kids will just
read the terms of service meticulously and follow
thoroughly
it to the letter
have
of the
their
law.
lawyers and parents
Yeah.
check it over.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they'll just, because kids are kids, they'll just say, yeah, I'm 18 or yeah, I'm 13 or whatever the magic number is, and put in their birth dates to the magic number so that they can play in the platform if they're going to do that. And I know parents who have set their kids up on Facebook. They're like, oh, I'd rather set it up and know their password and know all that stuff than have them go and do it on their own kind of thing, which we can apply to many other activities that our teenagers shouldn't be doing that parents sometimes feel that they should do for them. So they created, Facebook came out, like I say, back in December and launched this Messenger Kids, which isn't the same as creating a Facebook account. So it is a Messenger account only. They're not getting full Facebook. And they only require a first and last name, so no age. And they're not collecting or data mining any information about the user stuff. So, and most of these kids typically don't even use a real name. They use some sort of derivative, like middle name is their first name and that kind of thing. Yeah. Because it's cool to pretend you're not you. So they won't automatically convert into Facebook accounts either once they turn 13. Like they still have to sign up for full-fledged Facebook if that's what they want to do. And it doesn't have any advertising. So it just lets kids use Messenger back and forth with their friends, the under 13 crowd, which apparently are all hanging out on Messenger these days, or Facebook hopes.
So you're telling me that Facebook made a standalone messaging app that doesn't ask you for your age, doesn't sign you up for Facebook, and doesn't show you ads?
Yes.
All right, everybody, we're going to go sign up right now.
It's exclusively for the kids. What are you talking about?
It sounds like no ads to me.
Yeah. And it's neat because parents don't need to download a separate app, so they can still communicate with Messenger kids, their kids, basically.
Okay.
So the parents can have some monitoring. The parents are able to can see who they're connected to and allow who they're connected to, or disallow friend requests or connection requests.
It's like the parental version of Messenger.
Yeah.
Like you can control who they're connected to.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right? So it puts a little bit of security in there. I think it's neat because there's a generation of kids right now that are the above 13 crowd, we'll call them, the 13 to 17-year-olds.
The Snapchatters.
The Snapchatters. I hate to say that because not all of them are Snapchatters, and not
You just
Snapchat
offended most of them.
Well, but no, I think I don't want to offend the 40-year-olds who are also hanging out on Snapchat. Yeah, which is me.
Yep.
So no, I think that that generation never really got into Facebook. So I think what Facebook's trying to do is burp their audience on the mini version so that they can grow into it, so it can be like a lifelong brand.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's what's going on here. It's like Facebook, it's just a messaging app that Facebook has stuck its brand on. And I also think it's doing another really interesting thing, and I'm totally going to bring the Magic School Bus back into this, where like Netflix just put out a new Magic School Bus, and they almost kept the same song, and they kept most of the same kids, and I really feel like it was for the parents to have some familiarity with it, so that they would put their kids in front of that show, buy Netflix for that show. So the same thing here happening with Messenger. I think part of this is, hey parents, you were the generation that used us a lot. We've just created a Facebook Messenger that's safe for your kids,
right,
that you can control, and stuck our brand on it. Get your kids to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially. I mean, it has some of that monitoring and control in it, which is always, online bullying and abuse and concerns. Kids want to be using what their older brothers and sisters are using, and if this gets them in that safe environment that parents can expose them to it, then great.
And I'm assuming the parent, they're able to connect with each other, the below 13s, but I'm assuming the parent can allow connections to anyone on Facebook.
Aunts and uncles and cousins and brothers
Yeah.
and the whole gamut, yeah. And kids can't delete any messages. So
The opposite of Snapchat. Interesting.
but the evidence is there,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And it will stay there. And parents are notified that anytime a kid reports a message. So if
Interesting.
if my child gets a message that might be, construed as bullying or, abusive in any way, the kid can report that message and mom and dad gets it. Now, I mean, why would the kid report it? They would need to feel like that they need to report it, right?
Yeah, I think there's an understanding nowadays that if you hit the report button, if enough people hit the report button on social channels, that the Facebook is going to take a look and see,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, but it's only handled by real people. It's not Facebook. It's parenting.
Oh, it only goes to the parent?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. Okay.
I think so. I mean, the other challenge is we don't want it to create a sense of false security where you think, oh, no, my child uses Facebook Messenger for kids and it's totally, totally safe. And they're not monitoring and they're not necessarily having those conversations with their children about it, about, what is bullying and what's appropriate online behavior or not and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think as a parent in today's tech world, it's really important that parents spend a little bit of time to understand how things work. You don't need to know the technical details, but to get how do they friend people? Who are they friending?
Yeah.
What's
no longer
the
is it cool for parents to say, oh, that geekery stuff, I can't keep up with it.
Exactly.
They need to know where the kids are hanging out.
There's almost a business there, IT consulting for the parent.
For the parent to help them, for sure. So it's an interesting app. I mean, I really think it's just a marketing ploy to, help hook that younger, to build their audience.
Yeah.
And yes, right now they can't advertise to them because that was kind of the terms of service that Facebook had established with it. But they can certainly groom them to be devout Messenger users so that when they turn into the 13-year-old and want to set up their own Facebook account, it's seamless for those people, right? As those kids transfer into that
and surely
age.
there'll be a convert. You'll be able to go from one at some point.
Oh, sure.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So, but what it does do is speak to, the role that Messenger plays in our lives, and where Facebook sees Messenger or messaging apps going, and having that online communication to be able to text back and forth or message back and forth. And it's going to boost up Facebook's numbers in terms of, more subscribers to the service. What else do we have on Facebook News? Where was I going with that?
The Facebook News podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's Is there its own Facebook News? No. Wait a minute. Are we promoting somebody else's podcast? Subscribe to all your Facebook news at themarketingpodcast.ca. Tune in, and thanks for listening, guys. So we still have more Facebook news. I want to talk about, this also happened just before Christmas. Oh, I should mention, too, that Facebook Messenger for Kids app is currently only available in the U.S., and they haven't yet or just about to launch it on Android. So it originally just launched in iOS in the States. So if you're a Canadian Google Chrome Android user, I shouldn't say Chrome Android user, you might be out of luck for a little while, parents. So, but what Facebook did do is they've opened up their AR studio to all of their creators. So this is coming out of mobile marketing. Facebook has granted access to all third parties who want to produce augmented reality or AR with the latest test version of its AR studio. So this was a statement that came out of Facebook. The company previously let more than 2,000 brands, publishers, and artists try it out. But now at their F8 conference, they are going to be, or they announced it at F8 in April, and now they're rolling it out to everyone. So it's going to introduce tools to help creators develop 3D digital objects for people to place onto surfaces. We talked about that, Amazon doing that with putting a crock pot on your countertop in a previous episode, and interact with their physical space. And I think that's kind of a really cool. We're going to see some neat things coming out of Facebook users, not Facebook directly.
Yeah, this makes me think of different video games and software producers that have like workshop components to their online communities. And there's lots of video games out there that do this, large free-to-play video games that will have a workshop where players or users can create content and then publish it on the platform as long as it meets some standards, and then anyone can take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And so by opening up the AR, augmented reality studio, to all creators, suddenly we're going to see that many more. They kind of look like stickers or like the faces you would get in Snapchat, but we're going to see a lot more options. If anyone can do one,
the more people who are playing with it, the better quality product that we're going to have, right? Like right now, people are like, let's do face filters because we can.
Yeah.
But if I can start placing things in a room and engaging with people in fun and creative ways, that's really only done through discovery, with people playing with the app. I mean, Zuckerberg is saying like, hey, we're becoming 3D, we're becoming AR and VR scene. We need to be part of that game too. As like, globally we're becoming that. So Facebook being such a global player, we also need to be part of that. The mobile marketer piece goes on to say that global spending in the AR VR space is forecasted to rise 95%.
Wow.
A 95% increase. I mean, it was something that didn't exist that now does, right? So it's going to go up to $17.8 billion in 2018 from $9.1 billion.
Just 1%. I just want 1%.
Just 1% of that would be nice, yeah. So in a year, it's going up that much. And Facebook is being smart to be in that. So the question is, how can we get businesses using the AR platform in Facebook once it rolls out? And are they even attuned to that? And how, to market your products and services and engage with your audience in these new ways? Because the first ones, I mean, we know you're either first on scene and you develop a loyal following because, you're the first one there and you've played with it and broke it and played with it and learned from it, or you're doing it because you're doing really cool creative things, or like you can really leverage this right now for your business.
And I would say don't ignore it. Don't necessarily jump in and try to be the first out. Figure out a good way to use it. But this is like, I think of myself and emojis. I remember when emojis started happening in text messages and I was like, these are dumb. Well, it turns out they weren't so dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe I missed the boat a little bit on emojis. I'm not regretting anything, don't worry. But funny enough, this is probably going to be one of the number one uses for AR.
Right.
As weird as it is. And the opportunity to use this kind of thing for brand development, for awareness is we've seen it with Snapchat filters, we've seen it with Instagram filters, location filters, all that kind of stuff. So it might look like the next shiny, but it is also a new way and a novel way to build your brand. And so I think really it's going to come down to how creatively it can be used.
Yeah.
Are you a hat company? Can you stick your hat on people? Are you a glasses company? Can you stick your glasses on people? And then they can take a picture and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think although, not jumping in too soon, too fast is, some people would advise against that. I say jump in and play with it, but privately, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like just use it yourself and see what you can do, or turn that tech savvy niece or nephew or family member into it and see and have those conversations with people to understand the technology. Because the reality is, we said this months ago, with the adoption of AR in iOS 11 and the iPhone 10, it's now at consumer level.
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody has a $1,300 cell phone in their hands. but any iOS user is probably upgraded to iOS 11, and they have some of those features.
Yeah.
And many of us, if not all of us, know what Pokemon Go is, and that's kind of where it really started. And as we watch this evolve, now that Facebook's like really opening up the game, it's going to be, we're going to see more and more of this in our Facebook feeds. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon. This isn't like Twitter, one of those trends that's going to go away that everybody thought back in 2006 and 7 and 8. This is here.
And it can really help your brand development. That's not like it's like the emojis, you know. It does help. It might seem silly at first because you only see it in funny filters and things like this, but it definitely can help.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about in previous episode, we can link to it, I can't remember which episode, but about just VR, AR applications, more specifically AR applications, you know, and, you know, to try on makeup and clothes and to see how, excuse me, and to see how tattoos would kind of overlay on your skin. You can use AR for that kind of stuff as well. It doesn't have to be fun and frivolous. It could be like real stuff. So dig in and play with it and learn about it and see. And just by saying, oh, that's Facebook, that's where, you know, AR, I don't have a phone for that. Your customers do. They will, and they'll be seeing it in their feed. The other Facebook thing, we're just all over Facebook today. Facebook launched creator tools for mobile influencers.
That's an interesting title. Facebook launching creator tools, I get, for mobile influencers.
Right.
That's a distinction I didn't expect.
Yeah. So this is also coming out of Mobile Marketer. Back in November, Facebook announced 2 new features for content creators who want to develop a following among their social networks, more than 2 billion users worldwide. So the Creator app is a one-stop shop where people can shoot and edit videos, broadcast live with custom stickers, graphics, and camera effects, view analytics about their page and engagement levels, cross-post between social platforms, which would probably just be Messenger and Instagram. The app also gives creators a streamlined inbox that centralizes comments from Facebook and Facebook-owned Instagram, as well as Messenger chats. So it's available on iOS. Will hit Android in the coming months. It's funny, Facebook's pushing it to iOS first still. What the incentive is to do that?
I don't like you either, Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
There you go. To heck with Android.
Yeah.
Tooey. And then
I
users.
wonder if it's a Google rival.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Users can also access a new website dedicated to providing resources and tips on how to create videos, engage fans, and grow their community on the social network. We talked about this. Twitter teaching advertisers
Right.
how to advertise.
Yep.
And Facebook showing people how to do this will just get better quality content in the end.
Okay, so this makes me think of 2 things. First off, excellent job, Facebook, because I'm sure that the influencers on your platform are some of the largest spenders when it comes to boosting posts, right?
Or advertising in general, not boosting posts, but yeah.
But they're getting money to produce their content, and then they want their content to go further so they can charge more money. Great. So they've basically built tools for influencers so that influencers can make and spend more money on their platform. So that's number 1. Good job. Number 2, businesses, now that you know this exists, you can ask your influencers for those metrics. And that's the important piece here. So Facebook is tailoring the metrics for influencers. So don't fall into a trap of paying for vanity metrics.
Right.
You know they have access to the data. They can go get it. Ask for that data. And that would be my advice to the businesses on the business side of the exchange.
Yeah, and that's really important in terms of hiring influencers and influencer marketing. You know, just because somebody self-proclaims as an influencer doesn't necessarily mean that they are an influencer. They could have paid for all of their followers, and it'd be fake accounts, and
or it could just be followers in a different country,
or followers who are
out of town.
The whole circle retweeting and sharing of friends who are just supporting one another.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And you're not really getting it. It's falsified reach. So here, when you're asking for these metrics, I mean, you should always ask for whatever metrics anybody is offering. Same thing when you're placing a print ad. Back in the day, you want to know how many papers is your newspaper reaching, or how many people, and what's the distribution, and where is it being dumped. Here, and besides the ditch down the road because the kid doesn't want to deliver it. So the data is available. Ask for the data,
Yeah.
and even more so now if you're using an influencer. Now, interestingly, I did omit. You know, we were talking just about why Facebook is ignoring Android, Google, and YouTube. I mean, maybe they're it totally just escaped me for a moment there, but yeah, that would make sense. So it's a cool app. They've promised that this will come out a while ago, so now they're slowly rolling this out. But it's a neat resource that's going to be there for people to be able to manage the stuff better. So yeah.
Something to watch out for too is our next article. So this comes from The Verge, and so it talks about this Instagram story ad with a fake hair. So basically, let me explain. A Chinese sneaker company created a Instagram story ad. So that's one of the ads that appear, say, in between two stories. That appears, it shows up on your screen in such a way that it looks like there's a hair on your screen, with the intention that you will swipe the hair off your screen. And if you've ever been on an Instagram story ad, swiping up will bring you to the website that's advertising. Mm-hmm. So basically what this Chinese sneaker company was trying to do is get people to swipe up. In no way is this good for marketing, ever. Anytime. I don't even understand why someone would want to do this. But their thought was, hey, we'll get lots of people going to our website.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, at first when I heard about this story, I didn't quite gather what it was talking about. But it is. It's like a concave black line that goes kind of across the middle of the screen. We'll post it up at themarketingpodcast.ca, and you can check it out, the story. And it looks like something that you would just want to be like, oh, shoot, there's a hair there, and swoosh it away. And it totally just... So it was the marketer who did this, right? Like who designed it and said, oh, yeah, this will be great. It wasn't like the company, because I think...
Yeah, it has, yeah.
Yeah, because I would think the marketer who's doing this is really just trying to pad the numbers, right? Like, hey, look, we got X number of click-throughs on this story, on this ad. Of course, they've alienated all their customers or potential customers.
They've been banned off Instagram because they did break the terms of service.
There you go. Yep. There you go. For this very purpose?
Yeah, for this ad. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good on Instagram to move as swiftly as they did. We've talked about how marketers ruin everything. I'll give them props for trying. Like, there's a little part of me is like, yeah, okay. There's maybe a better way they could have done it, and they're not like, because ultimately the goal is trying to get people to engage with your brand. That's why you're in these spaces, and you want them to do it genuinely,
intentionally,
as opposed to trying to trick them into it. But we've all been tricked into clicking on something we don't want to click on. It's that I think about like any mobile game I play, the exit out square is like, it's like a game. It's like, where's Waldo? Just trying to find the clothes on the ad that's popping up on the mobile game that I'm playing.
I sometimes wonder if they plan how things load too, because you're like, there's the X, and then you hit it, and then an ad is like
just
loaded.
Popped up. Yeah. So it sucks, and it kind of makes you go, oh yeah, I'm never playing that game again. It's not going to make me say I'm never going to watch an Instagram story again because they fixed it, and it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the copycats that now see it and think that they're going to try and do some different version of this.
I don't know. It's an 80% off sneaker sale for Black Friday.
Sure. Why wouldn't you want to click on it?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I get it.
Don't trick people.
Don't trick people.
Just don't trick people.
Yeah. Because ultimately, we've all clicked or swiped on something we didn't mean to click or swipe on. And as consumers, we're like, ugh, and get frustrated about it.
And it's like the watch ads you see on Facebook where they're like free watch, limited supply, and then you find out you just have to pay the shipping, which is like $40.
Yeah.
And you're like, there isn't a limited supply on this. Yeah. This is a $30 watch.
You used to say to me a long time ago, Brendan, that like the BS meter on, the Generation X and onward.
That's because there's so much of it.
Right. Like you're just so attuned to it. So, you're not going to fall for it. And if you do, not only are you going to just dismiss it and go, oh, shucks, what did I do? you're going to like personally make a conscious decision not to do business with that company anymore.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yes, it's real metrics, but it's not genuine metrics, and it just doesn't make sense. So just do ads. Don't trick them.
Yep.
Don't trick them. Speaking of tricks, we're all out of them. Is that it for the show? Are we done?
Yeah.
We're done. Just like that, friends.
Facebook for you.
That's what? Short-lived? I was like, where's the joke in that? Yeah, I'm sure next week I won't be watching Facebook as much as I have been lately. I don't know. I've just been excited about it. So I get the messages from my 6 and 7-year-old nieces and nephews on Facebook. I'll be like, oh, never again.
Exactly.
Never again.
Well, that's what they said when their parents got on, or what we said when our parent, or my whatever.
Yeah.
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 Like, what?
Yeah, what's mom and dad, what's grandma and grandpa doing on here?
What's grandma and grandpa doing on
here?
Yeah,
and really, grandma and grandpa don't even know what they're doing on there. They can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's the show. Thanks so much for listening to themarketingpodcast.ca. Look us up, hit us up our links, send us a note, a message. Tell us what you think. For The Marketing Podcast, I'm Heather Watson.
And I'm Brendan Quigley.